Rasputin was around in Russia at around the second half of the 19th century, and he was essentially a sort of mystic priest type. The Tsar, which is basically the head of Russia, and his wife, the Tsarina, had children, 5 of them. They had 4 girls and 1 boy. When they got to the male heir, unfortunately he had a disease called haemophilia, and there was no treatment for it back then. Alexandra wanted her son to live, obviously, because she's a mother. She did anything at all, including getting Rasputin. He comes over and somehow cured the young Tsar, Alexei. The Russian people thought he was mad, and they had no idea why the Tsar and his wife had a madman. I don't know if sexual predator is the right way to describe Rasputin, but he was quite sexually driven. He went out and had sex with his followers. That links to what I am talking to you about today, which is Rasputin's giant pickled penis. I can't remember all these facts, okay, so I've got this sheet with me. In 2004 in St. Petersburg, there opened a museum called the Russian Museum of Erotica. Erotica is basically penis, vagina, sex, that sort of stuff. This is the first time I've actually gone into this realm of YouTube. Penis, vagina! It is floating in a jar of formaldehyde, and it's green. Probably just because of the formaldehyde. Either that or Rasputin was Shrek. Rasputin apparently lost his penis in 1916, and it was either cut off by assassins, and this is a really interesting story. People hated him. I told you, the Tsar Tsarina, they loved him, people hated him. He was basically a madman. So they decided to assassinate him. They invited him to a meal which had enough poison to kill like an elephant, and it didn't kill him. He was beaten up, completely just mangled, and he didn't die. And I think he was shot a few times, and he didn't die. And then he was bludgeoned over the head with a giant stone sort of statue. And they thought he was dead. They threw his dead body, what they thought was his dead body, into one of the really icy rivers. And his body was found, like, a few days later. And they said the cause of death was actually drowning. So that, he was still alive. Somehow Rasputin's penis ended up in the hands of a Russian maid. And this is either because she found it after it was cut off by the assassins, or she was allowed to keep it as a souvenir after the autopsy. During 1920, a group of Russian women living in Paris acquired it, and they worshipped it as a kind of holy relic. You can't make this stuff up. And then Rasputin's daughter, Marie, demanded it back, and presumably it stayed with her until her death, which was in California in 1977. And then the penis just sort of disappeared. No one knows what happened to it until it came into the possession of a random Californian guy. I don't think he was majorly important in this story. His name was Michael Augustine. Michael Augustine sold it to Bonham Auction House. It was discovered in 1944 to be a sea cucumber. I'm gonna find a picture of it and show it to you, but somehow this was mistaken for a penis. And that's essentially the end of the story because it wasn't his penis. But there's a penis floating in formaldehyde. The director of the Erotica Museum, Igor Nizikin, claimed to buy it from a French antiquarian for $8,000. But then where did it come from? How did the antiquarian get it? So we don't actually know if this is Rasputin's penis. It's most likely from a bovine animal, which is like a horse or a donkey. Bye! He has a penis. Okay. Somehow the penis first ended up in like a Russian maid. Not, oh fuck, what?